Well, it was the week Manchester United lost 2 home games by 3 goals for the first time since the 60s, and the week that Sir Jim Ratcliffe tried to recruit one of his Formula One friends to aid his acquisition of the club. The latest lap of the ongoing Manchester United circuit, which regularly features stop at the pits, has been breakneck, deadly, and drove everyone round the bend. Where does it end? Well, not yet for Erik ten Hag, but failure to beat Fulham, Copenhagen in the Champions League in the week, and Luton at Old Trafford, where United have been abysmal, and it may be lights out for the Dutchman. Fulham have stalled a little bit in the absence of their driving force, Alexander Mitrovic, but win well today, and they have a great chance to overtake Manchester United in the table. Here are the two teams, starting with the home side, who wear white shirts with black sleeves and black shorts. Leno in goal, Castagna, Ream, Bassi and Robinson the back 4. Polinia and Iwobi in midfield, with Pereira in the 10, Willian on the left, Wilson on the right, and Muniz replacing Jimenez through the centre. Onana is the Manchester United goalkeeper, with Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Evans and Dalot. It's McTominay and Eriksen holding in midfield, with Fernandes behind Anthony, Rasmus Højlund still looking for his first Premier League goal, and Alejandro Garnacho replacing Marcus Rashford, who failed a fitness test this morning on a heavy knock he sustained in training yesterday. Our referee this afternoon is John Brooks, the VAR is Jared Gillett, and the fourth official is Rebecca Welch, the first female fourth official in Premier League history. Well seen on EFL circuits and in the WSL and at Women's World Cups. Later on TalkSport, we have Manchester City against Bournemouth on TalkSport 2. It's followed by FA Cup first round action from Hayes Lane in Bromley as they take on Blackpool. That's on our app. If you just download it, you can flick between TalkSport and TalkSport 2 and you get all the football that you need. Monday night is game night. It comes from Tottenham as Pochettino goes back to his former home. But right now on TalkSport, our latest stop on the calendar takes us to the Cottage for Fulham against Manchester United, and it's only on TalkSport. Manchester United to start with, left to right, red shirts, white shorts. Fulham, white shirts, black shorts, attacking the goal. Away to our left-hand side, Bruno Fernandes will get us started. John Brooks just looks over at the fourth official, blows his whistle, and we're off and underway. Live on TalkSport this lunchtime in the company of the former England man, Stuart Pearce, who can answer this question first of all. How will Erik ten Hag have revved up the United engine?
Well, I think he's got to take reference to some of the words that have come out from the fan base, really. You know, they're seeing it, and that slogan that was put up from the fans beforehand, play like you mean it. I'll tell you what, that's the only inspiration you actually need. He's done his work, I'm sure, in a week, but that statement and that flag...
Maguire's just picked up the ball, received it, played it to his left, and then he's collapsed to the floor. He's got a real problem here, Harry Maguire. That is unlike him. We wondered about the Fulham first team because they were warming up with 11 outfield players just in case. But Harry Maguire it looks to me like he's gone faint, played the ball to his left and just collapsed to the floor. There was no one around him when the ball was played to him, and now he is being sat down by the officials who've come straight on to attend to him. Or it might have been a whack in the back of the head, actually, because he just initially, just before he received the ball, took a whack to the head, then walked back, received the ball 2 or 3 seconds later than that, and then just put it straight out of play. So that it might well be a head injury here.
Yeah, I think he's took a glancing blow. They're just dabbing just above his eye, I think. So he's clashed either heads or shoulders, as we've just seen. And his reaction straight away knew, I think. There might be a bit of concussion there, Sam.
Well, he can't catch a break at this moment in time, Harry Maguire. He's got back in the team. He's established himself alongside Johnny Evans. Rafael Varane is being kept on the bench by him at this moment in time, but it will be Varane who comes off the bench should it be that Harry Maguire needs to be replaced. That happening less than 2 minutes after the start of the game here at Craven Cottage, with Manchester United desperate to put in a performance, and those supporters maybe doing a bit of Eric Ten Hag's work for them in putting up that banner which said "Play like you mean it" just before the start. It means that there is a huge delay right at the beginning of this Premier League football match, and John Brooks just consulting with a physio. He's asked them if they can to remove Harry Maguire and take him to the sidelines. The problem here is if there is any sort of worry that it could be concussion, then he must be removed.
Well, I know I make a lot of references to rugby league, but for me, head injuries, I can't see a problem in bringing Varane on, and then when Maguire goes through his protocol check, he replaces Varane and comes on again. Why that would certainly safeguard the player, and if it's not a head injury, I don't see a reason why physios aren't allowed on to treat players while the game goes on.
Yeah, it's a temporary substitution may well be something that the authorities need to look at. It's something that I know that head injury awareness charities have been looking at and lobbying for some time. It does look like Maguire is going to be able to come back on the field of play here, which is a little bit concerning. The ball has been sent up towards Rodrigo Muniz, who picks it up right side and outmuscles Johnny Evans, and then it's Fernandes who gets back and puts it out of play over on the Fulham right as they look to attack. Harry Wilson wants to take a quick throw in. Harry Maguire has gone back on into the centre of defence, and Fulham have the ball on halfway. You're listening to TalkSport. Eric Ten Hag looked like a man under pressure yesterday, defending his tactics, insisting his players display against Brentford proved that they were answering his calls. We'll see if they do today. Andreas Pereira, formerly of United, swings the ball into the centre, half cleared by Evans as it goes into the box from the left-hand side. It's collected by Castagna over on that far touchline, and then Wilson, then Polina, and then back out towards that right-hand side, and Castagna's getting forward. Dalot comes across, slides in, puts the ball out of play. It's away for a throw-in to Fulham in the right-wing position. 0-0, 4 minutes played.
Yeah, when things are not going your way in United's case, you're probably better off not overplaying. Get the ball forward, put it in the opposition's half and put pressure on them. Let them deal with it. Fulham have done exactly that with Robinson. Just dipped a little ball into the left-hand channel here, and it gets Fulham up the pitch.
Well, despite Ten Hag's defiance, Wednesday's defeat means the Reds have their worst defensive record since 1966, produced their worst start at home since 1930, and start the weekend 11 points behind top spot Spurs after just 10 games. Garnacho in for the injured Rashford over on the far side, drops towards the centre circle, lays it back to the left and Dalot, and then they play the ball across the defence to Wan-Bissaka, who is prevented from going any further by Willian. Back to Harry Maguire, light blue boots on as he sends it forward looking for Fernandes. Calvin Bassey reads it and heads it away. It's won by Polina ahead of Rasmus Højlund, who's tugging at him, gives away a free kick, and it's a Fulham ball a good 10 yards short of the centre circle.
Yeah, opportunities like that, ball in behind Fulham's back line, got cut out eventually, but Højlund should have secured that and built an attack from it.
And something that we saw early in the game against Newcastle, where a crossfield ball was aimed in the direction of Hannibal, who made a darting run in behind the Newcastle defence, but it was the only time we saw that all evening. 5.5 minutes played on TalkSport. Marcus Rashford is here, by the way, sitting in the stands watching on with a baseball cap on and a hood pulled up over his head behind the dugouts opposite us. Maguire out wide to Wan-Bissaka. It's further on to Anthony. Anthony tries to turn, plays it back towards Maguire, and then Maguire looks to build the attack from the back. Fulham, who have got Polina and Iwobi as the deeper of the midfield players in front of the back four, have struggled with goals, but they look like they've put more attacking players on the pitch today with that change, and Reed stepping out and Iwobi coming into the midfield position and Pereira coming back into the team. Here is Anthony down the right. McTominay goes on into an inside right channel run, but he's blocked from getting the ball by Polina, who's an accomplished midfield player, and the ball goes back to halfway with United and Evans, and then Garnacho has to drop deep and give it back to his goalkeeper Andre Onana, who is as I understand it, still wearing a replica shirt from the Mega Store, because and you heard it with Ollie Klink earlier today in the package that we did. The shirt that he received from Adidas was measured up for David De Gea, who's a slightly different looking frame.
Maybe they weren't aware of the transfers in and outs potentially Adidas there. That's all that tells you. I've got to say, when you know the long shorts come in the 80s sort of thing, we ticked along. It was
early 90s, wasn't it?
Was it early 90s, whenever it was? I absolutely hated them. And
Did you?
As soon as I got a long pair of shorts, basically come down to my knees, I used to go and see the kit ladies, and they used to cut half of them off.
Did they?
Yeah. And re-sew the badge on.
There you go. Here is Ericsson with the free kick delivered towards the far post. It goes across the face of goal, and Scott McTominay is alone inside the 6-yard box to pop home, and Manchester United have an 8th-minute lead, and Scott McTominay scores again. It's his 4th goal of the season. He's their top scorer in the Premier League, and he's on the mark again. Manchester United lead inside the first 8 minutes of the game. A free kick floated towards the back post, headed back across the face of goal. Real befuddlement amongst the Fulham back line, and it's 1-0 to Manchester United.
Well, I'm looking at this, and if Johnny Evans has got anything to do with this, or it's Maguire, this could be ruled out. Maguire's come in there and made an effort. I think he's just slightly offside, so I'm not sure.
Does he prevent Muniz from playing the ball?
Well, he's certainly in and around him, so that's judgmental, I think, at that stage.
Well, bearing in mind what we saw at Brentford the other week in terms of interfering with play, if that is the standard bearer, then VAR will be checking this, and in fact they are now checking this for a possible offside. John Brooks is waiting to see whether or not there is an offside here. It depends who you're measuring it against. They're checking the goal for a possible offside. It goes towards the back post from the free kick. It's Garnacho plays it across the face of goal. It's a really good assist actually from Garnacho from that free kick from Ericsson from the left side of the 6-yard box, and it's popped home by McTominay. But McTominay might be in an offside position from the initial phase of play, and he gets involved afterwards, and then it's whether or not there is an offside against Maguire. They're taking a very long time over it. We've had 2 significant delays and we haven't played 10 minutes yet, Stuart.
No, you know when your luck's in, if you're United, you've had Maguire go down injured. As luck happens, he's carried on with a head blow, so they didn't need to lose him. And if this goal stands, which it's a 50-50 judgment call, if I'm being honest with you, if this goal stands, then it could be Ten Hag's day.
This is where you need a little bit more clarification as to what they're looking at, because all we can see is them zooming in, and now the referee has gone over to Christian Eriksen to explain to him that this is offside and it's going to be chalked off.
Yeah, for me it was he's made an effort at the ball, Maguire. He started in the offside position slightly. The other players that had a contribution with the ball, for me, were onside. Both Garnacho and McTominay were onside.
Well, hold on. They've ruled that the initial phase was offside, and it's now whether or not Maguire makes a judgment that, he's going over to look at it. It's a judgment call, this. It's whether or not the referee believes Maguire is interfering with Rodrigo Muniz's ability to defend the free kick. If he is, then he will be adjudged to be offside.
Well, on what I've seen at the moment,
will be ruled out.
Muniz and Maguire have come bodily against each other, and for me, I think if they send the referee over there, I can't see the point in sending the referee over there. Just make a judgment as Stockley, please.
Well, the worst thing about this is that Harry Maguire has gone over to sort of try and peer over the back of the shoulder, and the assistant referee is acting as a sort of doorman and pushing him away. Bruno Fernandes is going over to have a word with Marco Silva, 2 Portuguese fellas having a little bit of a tete-a-tete and then a joke, and now the goal has been ruled off. The referee's seen it, he's looked back at it, he thinks Maguire's interfering with the attempt by Rodrigo Muniz to defend that free kick. He stops him from doing so. Maguire was in an offside position according to the VAR, and the goal's been chalked off.
Well, I've got to say, every time I turn up, every weekend, Sam, I see a decision that I scratch my head a little bit with. We were at Aston Villa against Brighton, weren't we? The player right in the line of the goalkeeper considered not interfering, which flummoxed me.
Well, what flummoxes everybody is that a player standing in front of a goalkeeper isn't considered to be in an offside position or interfering with play, and yet someone who is maybe secondary to a movement, a little bit like this, is deemed interfering with play. So it's all to do with subjective judgment, I'm afraid. So as a result of that, John Brooks has reviewed the monitor, and he believes that there was an infringement by Harry Maguire, who stopped Rodrigo Muñoz from clearing the ball. As he did that, the goal can't be allowed. 0-0, and we start once again. That's been chalked off. Here is Calvin Bassey in the right full-back position. Fulham have got away with one, and Manchester United's luck is still not in. Dalot sends it back towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's back with Onana away to our left. Can that sort of take the wind out of your sails if you're Manchester United?
Well, you consider you're off to a brilliant start. To have any goal chalked off, I think, gives you a real psychological blow, you know, especially United. They need a lift at this moment in time.
Maguire adjudged to be offside, and Manchester United now having to defend over on the right side as Fulham cut them forward. It's cleared away by the left fullback Dalot, back to his goalkeeper. He sends it upfield. Now it's on the right with Wan-Bissaka looking to exchange passes with Anthony, but Willian does his diligent tracking back and manages to nudge the ball back to his goalkeeper Bernd Leno, and it goes out of play on this near side and away for a throw into Manchester United. 0-0 the score. Here's Anthony, who cost £85 million, and yet to live up to that sort of billing at this moment in time. Garnacho back to halfway, collected now by Johnny Evans, who floats it forward into the 18-yard box. Anthony tries to dispossess Anthony Robinson, who then plays it back to Tim Ream. He, under pressure, kicks it forward and only towards the centre circle. Won though by Fulham, and Iwobi out to the right side. Wilson fouled by Dalot. That's going to be a free kick just in from the touchline right side. They were quite composed inside their own penalty area there, Fulham, when I thought that was rather dangerous.
I think they were composed when they should have been panicking a little bit, it's fair to say, Robinson. And he turned away from two challenges where he nearly lost the ball and then give it to a teammate in Ream that really didn't want it.
Yes, it looked like a little bit of a grenade that he was passing on there. Here is Eriksson far side into Garnacho, sends it back. Pereira tries to put pressure on Dalot. They chase all the way to the edge of the 18-yard box, and then Maguire plays it out to the right fullback in Wan-Bissaka. Anthony round the corner. It's well knitted together this by Manchester United, and Wan-Bissaka brings it over halfway, but then didn't have the poise to hold on to the ball, and then Polinia brings it clear, and Wan-Bissaka does do what he's good at, which is winning the ball back and then turning it onto Højlund. Højlund plays it square into McTominay, out towards the right-hand side, collected by first Anthony, and then joining the attack is Wan-Bissaka once again. His first start since the 16th of September after an injury which saw him haul off against Brighton. Maguire, who had that head injury early on, kicks it straight against Rodrigo Muñoz. The ball flicks into the air on halfway. It's prodded forward by Johnny Evans, but now it's fallen kindly for Pereira, who's pushed it out wide to the left, and Willian is running at Harry Maguire. He goes on the inside, skips round, tries a shot, cannons off the defender, runs loose inside the box, goes to the left side. Wilson gets a shot away, saved by Onana, and out towards this near side. There were half claims that Rodrigo felt he was pulled down inside the penalty area. There was another offside against Wilson, which was being flagged as the referee allowed that passage of play to continue, but that looked like a Fulham attack which could have caused Manchester United serious problems.
Yeah, when Willian drove into this inside left position, Maguire was the first one to come across, and he's gesturing to someone else to go and do the job, when it really is his responsibility to get out wide and Wan-Bissaka drop in behind him. But Willian done really well, but United managed to get a block on it.
Well, we saw Fulham at Spurs recently and here against Chelsea, and they hadn't found their focal point despite bringing in Raúl Jiménez, trying to bring the best out of Carlos Vinicius. Today they've gone with Rodrigo Muñoz as their centrepiece at the front of their formation, and it'll be interesting to see how well he does. Here is Polinia flicking the ball out towards the far side, the right, taken in well by Wilson, who's then pulled back by Dallo. Infield it goes to Iwobi, and then further on, and then Nunez and Pereira didn't take responsibility. It went between the two of them, and it was cleared by Manchester United. Upfield they bring the ball on the left as they look at it, with Garnacho not knowing quite where to go, being forced back by Iwobi, and he goes all the way back to Dallo, and now it's with Maguire just in front of his own penalty area. It's still 0-0. We played 17 minutes.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Højlund, the centre forward? I mean, one or two people suggesting he started pretty well, he's okay, beyond this game obviously, you know. Your thoughts?
I don't think they've got the best out of him, because I don't think they've been playing to his strengths. His strengths last year was running in behind. He can run the 100 metres in 11 seconds. Have you seen that? Have you noticed that since he's been here? I don't think anybody has, because I don't think they've utilised him as well. Anthony Robinson skips past Anthony down the left-hand side, bounds into United territory, produces across to the far post. It's not the best, and it's clipped behind and away by Dallo out for a throw on the far side.
This is where you see two players lacking a little bit of game intelligence. Anthony going to ground, giving his wicket away, lets Robinson go beyond him, and then Robinson's facing up Maguire, and Maguire's saying, please don't take me on, and Robinson doesn't. You've got to read your opponent. You really have in the game.
And where does that come from? Because I imagine that every player would have a piece of tactical analysis which says this is what happens if you get into this situation against this player, because he doesn't like this or he doesn't like that.
Well, you don't have to have the analysis in many ways, do you? You just have to know everybody follows the Premier League. You're playing it week in, week out. I used to know the players that you go up against a player who's had a quick turn of foot, Sam, and you don't take him on for speed. You pass it past him.
Well, we've played 18 minutes here, and the whole ground now is raising yellow cards. If you were listening to H&J this week or listening to us beforehand, you would have heard the details of the protest from the Fulham Supporters Trust, talking about the protest which has seen thousands of these yellow cards distributed today in protest at ticket prices, an 18% rise in season ticket prices in this stadium. There's a ticket available today for this game, £160, which is huge. There's less tickets available, and there is a huge amount of demand at this moment in time to come and see the club. The club say they regularly meet with the Fulham Supporters Trust and are trying to forge a way forward. But prices seemingly, and when you look at them at face value, look huge here at Fulham. Here is Højlund combining with McTominay edge of the area. It's cleared away by Castagna, who comes in from right fullback to get it out towards his near side. Anthony Robinson comes across. He plays it against Anthony, and the ball spills out by the corner flag, and it's away for a throw-in to Fulham. 0-0 on TalkSport. Later on today, we'll bring you live coverage of Manchester City's game against Bournemouth. That's on TalkSport 2 as we go round the grounds with Adrian Durham. And then Monday Night Football is from Tottenham Hotspur. Danny Murphy joining drive from 6. Adrian takes us through the night at Tottenham as Chelsea cross town for a derby. Poch going back there. Højlund in towards the penalty area. At the near post is Fernandes. He slips over, loses the ball. It's cleared by Fulham. Not a great header by Harry Maguire, but Evans will get it back to his goalkeeper before Nunez can chase him down. And it's all the way back at the other end of the field. And across the network next week, you'll be able to hear Champions League, Europa League and Championship football. Manchester United's trip to Copenhagen live on TalkSport this Wednesday. Stuart involved in that Champions League action this week. And Alan Pardew, who's still sitting up in the cottage with his baseball cap on, his very tidy beige trench coat, has just been joined by a couple of members of the Royal Legion and a Chelsea pensioner. They've finished their duties as part of the Remembrance Memorial that we had before the start of the game. And Alan will be doing Dortmund against Newcastle on TalkSport 2 on Tuesday. Bernd Leno has the ball away to our right in front of the Hammersmith end. As a breeze just whistles through the cottage. It's kicked upfield and headed away by Maguire. Iwobi was quicker to it than Eriksson. The ball spilt into Fulham's favour, but there was a foul there by Castagna on Garnacho. He wasn't happy about the award of that free kick, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester United over on the far side.
Yeah, I can quite understand the pain that Castagna's feeling there. I thought the player threw himself to the floor, but what do I know?
Well, quite a bit, I think. Played quite a few games, if I remember rightly.
In that case, he threw himself to the floor and bought a free kick. Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll allow you the credentials to call yourself an expert in that. 22 minutes gone. You're listening to TalkSport. Fulham remarkably have scored fewer goals than Manchester United. That's quite something to achieve. They aren't so much goal shy. They're positively prudish. Here is Garnacho, left-hand side, trying to skip into the box, and it's away by João Palhinha, one of the best tacklers in the league. He plays it up to Muñez, who's fouled by Johnny Evans. Free kick. And then taken quickly by Palhinha, whipped out towards this near side, and Willian is switched on, and Wan-Bissaka isn't. He bursts into the box, he gets to the left side of the 6-yard box, drills it across the face of goal, and Wan-Bissaka has got back to block it behind and send it out for a corner.
Well done, Palhinha. He put his foot on the ball, and I'm thinking to myself, it's right in front of us. It's on. The right back's not back in slot. It took him a little while to identify it, but what a great ball. And Willian took too long. You can't do that with Wan-Bissaka. Good defending, good recovery.
0-0, 22.5 minutes played. You're listening to TalkSport. Some blokes just walked down the gangways with a full 14-inch pizza. As he goes to take his seat to watch this corner. Pereira towards the far post, headed away by Maguire, comes out to Wilson, who hits it on the volley, but it was always going wide from the minute it hit his boot, and flicks into the Putney end and goes out for a goal kick away to our left hand side, and it still remains goalless on TalkSport this lunchtime.
Fulham have had enough decent entries at this moment in time. A couple of times they've taken a cross on when potentially they should have taken the player on, but certainly it's nip and tuck at the moment. I couldn't call a victor in this game at present.
It's still goalless. Hoyland holds the ball up in front of Tim Ream on the edge of the 18-yard box right side. Further down the right is Anthony. Anthony plays it back towards Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka on halfway, then sends it back Wan-Bissaka's way, and then it goes into Fernandes, and then Bassi will clear. Palhinha up to Pereira, quick turn over the top, asking Muñez to run in behind, but he overhit that, and it goes right the way through to what was supposed to be a sweeper keeper in Andre Onana, who I do understand is going to be called up by Cameroon and go to the AFCON. I think he'd retired from international duty after the World Cup and wasn't expected to go off to the AFCON. That is going to be the case now, and he will miss 7 games should Cameroon reach the final of that competition in January and February of next year, which is another headache for Erik ten Hag, should he still be in situ at that point. There is another game that is taking place at this time in the Scottish Premiership. It's Ross County 0, Celtic 0, 25 minutes gone. Brown has been sent off for Ross County, so they're already down to 10 men, and that's not a great start to proceedings for a team that are already struggling. And Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 1. Millie Bright, on her 250th appearance in the WSL for Chelsea, has scored the opener, the Chelsea captain. That's in the Women's Super League. Here it's goalless on TalkSport.
I'll tell you, Sam, what Fulham have done really well. When United are building up, Pereira and Muñez are just tucking in really tight in that centre circle area, just stopping Eriksson getting the ball and leaving Evans and Maguire on the ball and saying, you can have it all day, but we're not letting that ball come through Eriksson, who potentially can be the conduit to find Fernandes.
Mr. Bishop in the parking stand. Can St. Joseph please meet Mr. Bishop in the parking stand?
I think they need another club that's upgraded the PA system in the summer. Here is Wilson down the right hand side trying to get a bit of Eriksson. He does that, produces a cross, it's behind Muñez, and there was nobody else to latch onto it, and it's rescued by Anthony on the near side, and he plays it into Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But that was a mismatch over on the far side as Eriksson had to go and track Harry Wilson, who went scampering down the right hand side. He scored twice against Croatia in October's international break for Wales, and the Fulham fans really hoping that could boost his Fulham form. Actually, he certainly boosted Wales' chances of trying to get to the Euros by doing that, and he outpaced Eriksson there. At the other end, Fernandes is coming forward, tries to find Hoyland at the near post, well watched by Ream, cleared upfield by Fulham, but it can't reach Rodrigo Muñez. Well, we were prepared for a slow start. Fulham are yet to score in the first half of a league match here at Craven Cottage. United's first half record isn't much better. And here is Garnacho trying to do something about that on the wide left position. Plays it into McTominay, whose strike was chalked off inside the first 10 minutes of the game. There's another offside over on the far side, and that's going to be a free kick to Fulham away to our right. A lot has been made of Manchester United's setup, their style. Can you define what they're trying to do today?
Well, I think they like to build from the back. There's no doubt about that. The ball's spending a lot of time with both central defenders, but the central defenders are struggling. They can go outside the press, but they certainly can't go through it at this moment in time. And in the last build-up, I saw Eriksson and Darlow would swap positions, basically. So maybe Eriksson's got to have to drop into that left-back position to receive the ball and then start the build from there.
27 gone. Chelsea have gone 2-0 in front against Aston Villa in the WSL. A goal from Frank Kirby. Here is Iwobi. Out wide for former Chelsea winger Willian. He cuts infield, swings the ball towards the far post. Wilson is arriving, well spotted by Dallow, who just about dug it out and stopped it from being turned in. It was a delicious arcing ball from the left side towards the far corner of the 6-yard box by Willian. And Wilson coming in from that right touchline was only prevented from turning it in by Dallow. Here is Robinson down the left-hand side for Fulham, trying to cause chaos, delivers across to the back edge of the penalty area, defended by Garnacho, won by Palhinha, and they're looking to build again. Back in field it goes, collected this time by Bassi, and now Ream moves forward into an advanced position. He plays it down the left for Anthony Robinson, whose cross is another loopy one. That's the second or third time his delivery hasn't quite been right. He's usually very good with his wide left deliveries, and that's behind and away into the Manchester United fans set out for a goal kick.
Yeah, just looking at that earlier ball that come into the box from this left-hand side from Robinson, and you've got to say that that's where you miss the likes of Mitrovic, because I remember being here over the last few seasons. They're absolutely perfect for him, but Dallow, magnificent recovery and magnificent clearance.
A magnificent tackle from Palhinha on Højlund to rob the ball for Fulham inside opposition territory. The problem for Fulham is when they get, as you say, into that final third, there isn't really anyone to aim at who's going to put the ball in the back of the net with the kind of regularity that you need in the Premier League. Willian's delivery into the box there was just superb. He just took a step inside on his right foot and he just sort of swished at the ball and it arced beautifully into the path of Wilson. Dallow doing well enough just about to get it out the way. Still goalless on TalkSport, and Manchester United, who have had a goal disallowed, know that they're in a match once again against this Fulham team. Erik ten Hag yesterday brushed aside any of sort of talk of January reinforcements, insisted that he believed they'd constructed a good squad with, I just wonder whether or not with such insistence he sort of put a rod down his own back really. He's now got to try and get a tune out of them, and they're building up once again with Wan-Bissaka coming into midfield almost like an inverted fullback in the middle of the park alongside Eriksson, and then McTominay pushing on a little bit further high up the field, almost playing as a second 8 with Fernandes, and Højlund playing through the middle. There's loads of space left side for Garnacho, but they can't exploit it.
The work the two centre forwards for Fulham are doing fantastic. Pereira and Muniz in just stopping. One of them goes to press the ball, the other one drops into Eriksson. Eriksson does not get any free space at all. That's what's stopping United's build in the main.
England have just begun their chase of 287 to beat Australia in the Cricket World Cup as Iwobi moves the ball forward. Wilson runs at pace, shoots from the edge of the area. It hits Johnny Evans, claims of handball, but I don't think they're going to be heeded. And then Tim Ring loses it to Højlund on halfway, and Anthony tries to scamper clear, but Palhinha, who else, was there. And then that's a wild tackle from Robinson, who's completely missed the ball, and he's going to get the first yellow card of the game. And that was after a really good intervention by Palhinha, whose tackling is superb. I mean, he's got the most tackles in the Premier League this season. He's probably the best Premier League tackler as well, isn't he?
Yeah, well, put it this way, Fulham are absolutely delighted that he stayed at the club this year. He's been magnificent, and as I say, he's going to be integral in this game if Fulham are going to get a result.
Yeah, it's going to go to Bayern Munich, travelled to Munich on the day of the transfer window closing. They couldn't get a deal done in time. He travelled back and signed a new 5-year contract.
Quite bizarre, isn't it? All or nothing, that's called.
Be interesting to see how long he stays there. I think he probably would have been a good fit for Manchester United at this time. 32 minutes gone. Swung in by Eriksson towards the far post, headed into the air by Palhinha, and out of play and away for a goal kick, corner kick over on the far side for Manchester United to attack. Marco Silva has had his problems to deal with, and that's been in front of goal. And he said that Jimenez and Vinicius' problems are to do with confidence, insisting that once one comes, more will. But both of them are off the pitch today, and Rodrigo Muniz has been given a chance to lead the line. But it's defending that they've got to do now as Fernandes swings the ball in towards the near post. Calvin Bassey rises, it falls on the edge of the 6-yard box to Johnny Evans, who tries an acrobatic scissor kick which goes straight over the bar.
It's interesting looking at United, a real lack of sort of physical prowess. They got 4 big uns going in the box there, in Maguire, Evans, McTominay and Højlund, and apart from that they've just left everyone else ringing the box.
Fascinating, the trajectory of Johnny Evans' career, really, being part of a Leicester squad last year, although he didn't play very much until the end of the campaign. They got relegated, and now he finds himself in a starting position at the age of 35 for Manchester United. He's still very accomplished on the ball. I was at the Burnley game earlier in the season where he was terrific at both ends of the field. Had a goal disallowed and created the winner in the match with a brilliant delivery into the box. Here's Rodrigo Muniz trying to hold on to the ball but being harassed by Eriksson. He does brilliantly to take it down. Fernandes didn't make a challenge of him despite coming back, and then Palhinha plays it forward into Bassey. It's played out to the wide left-hand side, but it's given away, and Garnacho has pinched it, and Manchester United looking on the turnover now to try and create something. Højlund into the box in the left side, plays it back to Fernandes, edge of the penalty, right-footed shot, no purpose in the effort, saved to the left by Bernd Leno, and rather easily so, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, he flew through the air in the guise that the cameras were here, I think, but too comfortable. I don't think he could get enough purchase on it. Credit to Fulham, shut down the shot very, very well.
0-0 the score, and again Fulham just caused themselves a bit of an issue by playing out from the back, and Bernd Leno spooning the ball towards Calvin Bassey, who couldn't deal with that, and I shouldn't think would have been expected to, because it was a poor ball by the goalkeeper, and it goes out towards the far side, eventually trickles out for a Manchester United throw, and they've got the ball again left side, approaching the penalty area. Fernandes back to Eriksson, and then all the way back to Harry Maguire, who seems to have survived that early scare. McTominay takes it on the edge of the D, runs into traffic. Palhinha again, the stopper, nabs the ball, exchanges passes with Willian, who turns defence into attack. He skips past 2 challenges, Wan-Bissaka, and then tries to dive in and win the ball off him, and almost succeeds. And now Manchester United are back in position on this right-hand side. Fernandes flipping it forward, high into the air, and then it's headed away by Castagna in the right fullback position, and Fulham have got it back again. They do look like two teams that are devoid of confidence, really, don't they?
Yeah, lack of cutting edge as well, I think, and you almost think if a goal's coming, it's going to come from a mistake rather than a really good clinical piece of play or a set play potentially. Just looking at Wan-Bissaka's defensive work, one-on-one, he is absolutely outstanding.
He really is, yeah. It's his best asset, isn't it? Sometimes troubles you is that he's encouraged to go in and play as a sort of extra midfielder, and then he gets up to the sort of halfway line, the nosebleed starts, and he loses possession very quickly. But his one-on-one defensive work is nothing short of terrific, and we've seen that on display already today. It's Fulham 0, Manchester United 0 on TalkSport with Super 6. If you predict 6 scores correctly from this weekend's action, you could win £250,000 without spending a penny. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Anana clips the ball forward up to halfway, headed away by Anthony Robinson. In the centre circle is McTominay. He can't find a teammate. Calvin Bassey wins it for Fulham. He strides through the centre circle, but there's no one down the right for him to play the ball to, so he then loses it to Garnacho, who runs it out of play on the far side, and it's away for a throw-in in front of that 2-tiered brand new Riverside stand, which is still very sparsely populated because the middle sections are not complete, and fans are only allowed to sit on the flanks, and even though those 2 sections aren't fully open yet.
Yeah, Bassey got caught up. It was like going towards Declan, our producer's trophy room. You go down this big hallway and then all of a sudden it shuts up, and there's nothing there at the end of it, Sam.
Yes, Declan, who is a keen golfer now, and regularly skips his Saturday duties with us, I've noticed, Stuart, to go and play in tournaments.
We're waiting to see him bring a trophy in. It's fair to say that he had a wonderful tournament in Tenerife some time back and invited none of us.
Really?
He won a one ball he was playing, won the tournament.
Here is Anthony Robinson down the left-hand side. Anthony fouls him and gives away a free kick. And now Fulham get the opportunity to construct a chance from a set piece on this left-hand side, midway between the halfway line and the edge of the 18-yard box. It's Fulham 0, Manchester United 0 on TalkSport with Now. And don't forget, with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Newcastle versus Arsenal live today for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports.
Yeah, you just get the impression with both of these teams, they almost, if you could stop the game now and say, look, do you both want a point and jump on the coach and pop home, I think they'd both take it.
Andreas Pereira plays it short. William changes the angle of attack, tries to drip it in behind the defence. Maguire clears. Reams drops it back underneath the goalkeeper, who should come and claim, and does, and then quickly dispatches the ball out on this near side up to Anthony, who plays it with the outside of his left foot into a channel for Hoyland to try and dart in behind, but Robertson is there, and Anthony Robinson wins the ball, and Fulham are able to clear. Oh, they should have been, but Robinson's played it against Anthony, and now he's won the ball back. He plays it back infield to Fernandes. Fernandes plays it square. Eriksen's got a shooting opportunity, but took too many touches before doing so. Ran into traffic, and then the ball's broken down. And now it's 2-on-2 if Iwobi can put the foot on the accelerator, which he does. And they're back paddling the Manchester United defence. Iwobi shoots and spoons it behind. He got right underneath it, cut across the ball, and it went straight out of play, and it's out for a goal kick. It was a good opportunity.
It was a very good opportunity, poor pass, and that it highlights really United's vulnerability. Eriksen, being the deepest lying midfield player, could get nowhere near the attacking Iwobi, and then the two central defenders backing off as well. But Fulham couldn't make anything of it.
Why is it that Iwobi manages to win the ball about 10 yards outside his own 18-yard box, right? Sprints a couple of paces, and then all of a sudden it's 2-on-2. That shouldn't be, should it?
Well, it shouldn't, but United have pushed a lot of players forward, and the modern day game as it's played, you've got to rely on people looking after the ball. One bad pass and all of a sudden there's no recovery. We saw when Casemiro was playing and Eriksen in the same role at the moment, anyone with some toe can go beyond them and run away from them.
And that's the problem, isn't it? I watched Spurs quite a lot this season, and one of the reasons that why they can defend with two is because Mickey van de Ven is faster than a Porsche.
Indeed. I mean, he was magnificent at Palace a couple of weeks ago, and if he hasn't got that pace, you've got to have a holding midfield player.
Here is Anthony down the right hand side. Fernandes swings across towards the edge of the six, and it's headed away by Tim Ream, who I hear is targeting playing at the 2026 World Cup, by which time he's going to be 38. He's playing some of the best football of his career at this moment in time.
I'm surprised more players don't play into their late 30s, with the sports science available, Sam. I thought, with that sort of coming into the game very prevalent, that would be the case.
Here is the corner on the right-hand side. Fernandes to take it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Ream. Drops for Dallo. He hits it on the volley, and you can hear the noise as he sends it closer to the corner flag than he does the goal. Yeah, I mean, if sports science had been as advanced as it is now, when you were coming to the end of your career, you might have played until you were 52.
There's every chance. I mean, to be fair, I was like Dolly the sheep. They try to clone me, but...
You finished. You were 40 when you finished, weren't you?
But yeah, and to be fair, I probably didn't have to finish then. It was only that we were going back to the Premier League, and I wanted to stay at Manchester City that probably saw me finishing then.
5 minutes before half-time, listening to TalkSport. It's flicked on by Nunez, and then going in behind was Andreas Pereira, but Johnny Evans intervened to stop his attempt of breaking through the line. and it's cleared by Manchester United once again. Pumped up field. Leno has it at his feet. He clips it towards the right touchline. Castagna heads it down. Iwobi picks up the second ball, runs up towards Eriksson, brushes him aside, plays it out wide right. It's played back in field by Castagna towards Wilson. McTominay looked like he fouled Wilson there. The referee said no, and Evans brings it forward. Hoyland can't hold the ball up, and it breaks down once again. Fulham have got possession once more, and it's still 0-0. You're listening to TalkSport. Fulham 0, Manchester United 0. The statistics look like this at this moment in time. Expected goals, always a good measure of how good a game is. Manchester United 0.00 expected goals. Fulham 0.05 expected goals. 35% possession for Fulham, 65% possession for Manchester United. We've had 5 goal attempts apiece, but only the one on target, and that was that rather limped effort that Leno sprung to his left to save. So it's very 0-0. Bassi plays the ball out. Goal ruled out for Celtic, by the way, in their game away at Ross County. They're playing 10 men, and it's 0-0 there. Northampton Barrow gets underway at 1:30 in the first round of the FA Cup. FA Cup action last night and tonight. TalkSport 2. Bromley against Blackpool with Joe Shannon and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. And it's at Hayes Lane in Bromley. Have you ever been there?
Oh, I haven't. No,
I did my first ever commentary there.
Really?
Yes, I did. It's a great little ground actually, and Bromley have done very well. They weren't actually as high up in the pyramid as they are now in the National League, and they take on Blackpool this afternoon, and that's live 5:45 I think the kickoff is. It's on TalkSport 2. Make sure you join the guys for that, or you can listen to the phone in with Jamie O'Hara and the Gab father, Gamio Bonlahor, who I bumped into yesterday when I was in the building. Here is Robinson, infield to João Palhinha, who's just left of the centre circle and under no real pressure really, so dabs it back to Fulham's Tim Ream. It goes out to Bassi and then Iwobi. Manchester United at such a low ebb that it was always expected that Fulham would provide a bit of a test for them, as Pereira skips past 2 challenges, plays it out left and gets the return brilliantly and into the box. He's in behind the defence. He's taken it a little bit too wide though, and too many touches. He should have pulled the trigger as he burst into the box. He didn't. He went wide to the left-hand side instead, and that allowed the United defence in McTominay to put it out for a corner, which they've taken quickly. Given to Willian, who travels towards the edge of the box. He needs to get the ball centrally. He's taking on Bruno Fernandes, goes out wide, delivers a low cross, it's steered into the air, comes back to Iwobi, who takes it down. He thrashes it towards the near post. It's blocked by Eriksson. It's another corner, a second in quick succession. Stuart Pearce.
I've got to say, what a wonderful ball from Robinson that was, into the area to Pereira. When Pereira burst into the box, what he should be doing is taking the ground in front of McTominay and not allowing him to get round and beyond him. But United have done well enough to keep that ball away from their goal.
I can smell burning. I don't know about you.
I can. Maybe it's that pizza, that 14-incher that come through.
Yeah. Ball sent towards the far post, so Nana stayed on his line. Maguire dealt with it and clipped it out towards the far side. It goes out for a throw in level with the 18-yard box. So we played 44 minutes. We'll have extended added time at the end of this first half, because there is and there was so many stoppages from this first 45 minutes. Ball thrown in right side by Timothy Castagna of Fulham, who certainly have looked the more enterprising. The ball in towards Muñoz, but only just, I suppose. Ream forward, and then it'll be easily headed away by Diogo Dalot out towards the far side. Palhinha takes it down. He skips past 2 challenges. He nudges the ball infield centrally, and then Pereira sweeps it wide. Now Willian takes it on in the left wing position for Fulham. He cuts past Anthony with ease and then sends the ball towards the far corner. It just wouldn't whip back enough and goes wide of the left hand upright, and it's out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left hand side. But it's another half chance for Fulham, who have had the better of them in this first half.
Yeah, top play there. Willian just ducked inside and just didn't get enough curl on it. Bouncing ball, yeah, not enough curl on the ball by a long shot. Hoyland not a little bit disappointed with some of the service he's getting at the moment. Bassi and Ream are dealing with him rather comfortably.
Well, bearing in mind though, Erik ten Hag himself has spent, £400 million. There is a dullness about Manchester United. I know that they've had a lot of injuries, especially in defence, and they use their defence to build up the play. That's what they want to do. So when you haven't got the elements of that defence that you have designed to be the bedrock of what you do, I understand that it affects the other component parts. They're without Rashford today, they're without Casemiro today. There's lots of absences for Manchester United, but they're not engaging to watch, are they? Here's Castagna on the far side, the right, trying to get a cross in. The slide tackle comes in from Garnacho, doing his defensive work and getting back to help out his absentee left fullback, and it's out for a corner kick on the far side.
Yeah, it's very much a sort of clunky performance from United at the moment. Few passes have gone astray, few clips of okay, but no clear-cut chances at all, to be honest with you.
Corner far side to be taken by former Manchester United player Pereira, arcing towards the penalty spot, away by Højlund. It's a good header away by Højlund, good defensive header. Williams picked it up, right side for Fulham. On the attack once again, his cross takes a deflection off Garnacho. It's another corner, and they're racking them up now, Fulham, as they put a little bit of pressure on as the first half comes to a close.
He's been a decent acquisition for Fulham, Willian, hasn't he?
Amazing.
Since he's come here, wealth of experience. I thought he was going to leave in the summer, then he re-signed again, didn't he?
He did. Corner from Pereira, right side, clips it in towards the near post this time. The flick by Muñoz is never really going to trouble anybody and goes behind and away for a goal kick. And we do have 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, of which we played 2. And Andre Onana encouraging his teammates to go up the pitch so that he can launch it now, which is an unfamiliar sight in the Premier League in 2023, isn't it?
Certainly is, but then again they've struggled to play through the press, they really have, and some of the credit's got to go to Fulham for that. I've got to say, I mentioned the 2 strikers earlier, stopping that ball into midfield.
McTominay tries to turn the ball around for Paulinho and kept hold of it well despite pressure. Maguire fizzes the ball into a bit of space for Eriksen, who then plays it behind Fernandes. He didn't quite get that right, Eriksen, but it's broken kindly for Garnacho left hand side. He nudges the ball down the left channel. The cross comes in from Fernandes and it's poor, and it goes straight behind and away for a goal kick. And Manchester United have been a little bit left a little bit wanting in their attacking final third.
Yeah, they have. They've not been clinical up there. The balls that have come in, a couple of them have not been too bad, but mainly from free kicks and probably corners have been their best deliveries rather than actual free play.
I think Fulham will be happier with the first half than Manchester United, who I saw twice this week already. That game against Manchester City was a poor one. The game against Newcastle was even worse. Maguire has just collided with Muñoz, and we're going to have more added time at the end of this collision.
Yeah, I think Muñoz has been quite clever in some of these aerial challenges. He's tried to take the ground and tried to buy fouls, but it's just not worked off in any way, shape or form.
Has Erik ten Hag got his tactics right here today? Because watching Fulham as we have, we know that they like to try and play out and build up from the back, and they've conceded goals. They did it against Tottenham, where high turnovers have happened. Manchester United, should they not have been more aggressive in their high press, knowing that Fulham are vulnerable to that?
Well, you told me statistically they were the best pressing team in the league. I haven't seen that.
Well, that's what Erik ten Hag says. They're the best at it in the Premier League. Yes. 112 high turnovers, but they haven't scored from any of them.
Yeah, they've not filled me with confidence, Fulham, when they've played out. They've done okay, but not full of confidence. So you might think it's an untapped way at this moment in time for United.
Yes. McTominay towards Anthony, who's dispossessed by Robinson on this left-hand side, and there is the half-time whistle. And the Fulham fans pretty satisfied by what they have seen. Manchester United have struggled all season, home and away, but for whatever reason, They usually win at Craven Cottage, but right now even that looks a bit of a push. Scott McTominay did have a goal disallowed in the first 10 minutes of the game after Harry Maguire was adjudged to have been offside, but really since that goal it is Fulham that have created the better of the opportunities and have been more likely to score, or certainly look more likely to score. At half-time it is very 0-0. Well, Manchester United travelled down to London knowing that they had matched the start that Ron Atkinson made 37 years ago that led to the ushering in of Sir Alex. He took over on November the 6th, 1986. The thing that tipped Big Ron off the cliff was a Littlewoods Cup loss to Southampton. Fergie was brought in to turn Manchester United into top guns again. 1986, November. What was number one in November 1986, do you think?
Oh, I'm going to need a clue. That is a sort of...
I may well have already given you a clue. We're underway at the start of the second half, live on TalkSport. No changes. We have seen Harrison Reed warm up vociferously at half-time, as he warmed up before the game vociferously. He will be ready if ever called upon by Marco Silva. At this present time, he's decided not to use him. Manchester United came out well at the start of the second half of the game against Newcastle and then faded very quickly again in that second 45. So we'll see how this second half unfolds. There's no changes at half-time. Looked to be a foul by Evans on Muniz there, but the referee says play on. Here is Iwobi travelling down the right, giving the ball away to Scott McTominay. He doesn't utilise it very well. It bounces back to Johnny Evans. So I'll give you the Fulham team. It's Bernd Leno who is the goalkeeper. Castagna, Ream, Bassi and Robinson who's been booked, and then it's Pereira, Polinia and Iwobi supporting the front men. Here's Iwobi trying to become one of those front men by diving in towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's half cleared. Those front men, Muniz leading the line with William one side and Wilson the other. Iwobi, far too much room in front of Johnny Evans, out to the right, on towards Harry Wilson, who skips down the touchline, bundles into Dalot, who dives to the floor to try and stop it from going out for a corner. Garnacho tries to get it away. Fernandes drops deep. It's all happening in the left full-back position for Manchester United, and then he picks out Anthony over on the far side, but he can't hold on to it. He has to scurry backwards after Robinson's half clearance, and then he takes it down the right-hand side, then plays it infield. Eriksson doesn't get on the end of it, and it goes through to Castagna, and it's cleared away. United have Onana in goal. Red shirts, white shorts, white socks attacking the goal away. 2 hours left in this second half. With Wan-Bissaka, the right back, in towards the near post, helped away by Ream, and it spoons up into the air, drops inside the box on the left-hand side. Fulham can't get it clear, and it's very scrappy once again. Two teams desperately trying to fashion something. Here is Dalot, switching the play out to the left. Space for Garnacho, who scored a late winner here last year. Tries to come in on his right foot, travels, then shoots, takes a deflection, it's into the arms of the goalkeeper. And United with Wan-Bissaka at right back, Maguire, Evans and Dalot, McTominay and Eriksson, then Fernandes in the 10, and Anthony and Garnacho supporting Højlund in attack. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, well played Garnacho there, just cutting on his right foot, and I think it was Wilson who just took some sting out the ball and made things slightly easy for Leno.
So Fergie appointed November the 6th, 1986.
Yeah.
What was number one?
And the clue was Fergie appointed.
Fergie brought in to turn them into top guns. Oh. Come on.
Yeah. Hang on. From the film Top Gun, and the tune was.
Here is Muniz travelling back from the halfway line. The right full-back area is occupied by Bassi.
Just come to me. You take my breath away, my friend.
Hey, there you are. Who was the band?
Oh no, Foreigner or someone like that?
Berlin, take my breath away.
Good work.
Manchester United fans hoping something breathtaking will happen in this second half. 0-0 is the score. Here is Bassi. Quite startling the fact that they've made a start as bad as that one, which led to Ron Atkinson's removal. He'd actually done quite well in the preceding seasons, just hadn't got over the line. The previous year, Ron Atkinson was
when they started the season with about 10 wins in a row.
10 wins in a row, yeah. Started brilliantly and then just couldn't sustain it. Ended up losing to the title to Liverpool and finishing fourth. They were never out of the top four when Ron was in charge. And then feeling as if they weren't going to ever get out of the perennial cycle of just being also rans, they decided to bring in Ferguson, and he ripped it all up and started again. Well, look what happened next. Challenge in midfield by Garnacho and Ericsson. They sandwich Harry Wilson just in front of the centre circle. It's going to be a free kick to Fulham inside Manchester United territory.
We've seen a lot of stray passes in this game, haven't we? You know, turnover of possession, you think, oh, there's a counter-attack on, then a stray pass goes astray from both teams, really.
Manchester United's form's gone for the Dogs, but can they deal with this set piece? Crafted and plotting by Wilson and Pereira. They're talking about it intently, both hunched over, bending over to pick up the yellow ball. And there's a bit of movement down the right from Castagna. Iwobi's lurking with intent at the back post, and he makes a dart forward now. It's aiming towards Polinia, headed away by Maguire. Iwobi will retrieve it left side of the box and send it back towards Willian. Willian, who's deep, will turn, run in field, give it to Pereira, and then he'll send it back out towards the left-hand side, and he picks out little Davy Jones, who's sitting in the front row of the first tier of the Riverside stand, who's got a penchant for a good chest pass in the playground, I hear.
Yeah, it was a really poor ball there. It astounds me how players sort of pass a ball that was probably 20 metres away from his teammate and far too hard as well, and then start pointing in a direction.
Here is Fernandes as Manchester United look to come on the approach down the left-hand side. Garnacho outpaces the defender, sends a cross into the centre. It's flicked up into the air by Bernd Leno and tipped behind and away for a corner kick. Now, I think that was attempted to be a cross by Garnacho, but it went sort of close to the goalkeeper, so he felt as if he should intervene.
Yeah, he's had two decent interactions there. Castagna just offered him too much of the line. He took the bait, and cross was just too
Fernandes'
straight.
delivery flicked away by Bassi, comes back to Garnacho again, who's looked the liveliest of the Manchester United players. Dalot moves into the box, he tries to take on Iwobi, produces a cross, stands it up to the far post. Maguire heads it through the 6-yard area, it's prodded away by Castagna, it's looping up on the edge of the box, and Evans commits a foul and gives away a free kick inside the box that Manchester United are attacking. It's still 0-0, you're listening to TalkSport.
Yeah, it looked as though, I think we've been short of a decent cross today in the game from both teams. You know, they've got into some reasonably decent crossing areas and just overhit it on occasion, or in Fernandes' case, put one behind the goal, which is unlike him.
How important is it that Manchester United actually win this game? Bearing in mind, the only sides that Fulham have beaten here this season are Luton, Norwich in the Cup, and Sheffield United. I mean, is this a game really that if Manchester United are... Well, Manchester United should win, shouldn't they?
Well, of course. I mean, a United team come to Fulham, I would say 19 out of 20 times as favourites to come away with the points. What I think it's more important is that they don't get beat today, Sam. I really do.
Is that enough?
Well, it's obviously not enough, but it's a starting point.
They've won the last 6 trips to Craven Cottage. Manchester United. Paulinho's turned the ball over up high inside United territory. Robinson trying to go in behind Wan-Bissaka, who does well to read the ball down that left-hand side. Looks to try and steer it clear, but then he's dispossessed by Robinson before he can progress further up the pitch. You sort of need Wan-Bissaka to be that one who wins the ball and then very quickly just gives it to somebody else.
Yeah, he's got to do exactly that. Get his head up straight away, give it to a United player and run off the ball.
Ball smuggled out over on the far side. The decision goes against Fulham. It's a throw-in. It's quickly taken by Fernandes up to Ericsson, who again looks a little bit out of sorts. Can't quite find his passing range. And that's encouraging the Fulham supporters to believe that they might get something more than just a draw from this game. Manchester United haven't drawn any of their last 23 matches. Fulham still have a League Cup to chase, remember. Their season hasn't started as badly as I think people have made out. I just think it looks a little bit worse because last year they went on a surge around this time. They have got a game against Everton away just before Christmas after winning their last 16 match at Portman Road in the week. Here is Garnacho, back to Dalot. Dalot looks up, plays it in field. Ericsson has it, needs a bit of movement, but there's only white shirts around him, as Stuart has been saying. They've identified him, smothered him up until this point. McTominay turns it out wide to Wan-Bissaka, and then further out to the right wing, and it's with Anthony, who's trying to skip away from Robinson. He'll try to come in on his left foot initially, and then he gives it back to Ericsson, who swings across towards Fernandes. It's behind him and headed away well by Castagna, who read it even though it was the wrong side. Garnacho into Dalot, looking to get the ball onto his right foot. It takes a deflection into the air, and Calvin Bassey comes across and nudges it out towards this near side, and it's away for a throw-in to Manchester United, and it's 0-0.
Yeah, both teams had the ball in wide areas, just not found a cross or not found a miss-hit clearance that's fell to one of their players.
David Turnbull's 7th minute stoppage time goal still separates Ross County and Celtic in the Scottish Premiership this lunchtime. And Barrow have gone ahead against Northampton. They lead by 1-0. Here is Ericsson. That's in the FA Cup first round, and all the FA Cup action we'll keep you updated with right here on TalkSport. Ball sent by Maguire forward down towards the left channel, but the angle on the pass wasn't great. Garnacho complaining about that, and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think the ball was decent actually, but Dalot's thought, hang on, that's not for me, it's for Garnacho, and left it, and by the time he's realised it was for him, if he'd have gone for it initially, he'd have been able to sustain the ball somewhere in and around the penalty box.
24,415 are here today watching this encounter. That away end is packed away to our left-hand side by Manchester United supporters. They've done very well in the circumstances to pack that out and come and see their team. They'll pack any away end out, Manchester United, but they've been lively, sung their hearts out throughout the entire game, and trying to invigorate what is a very limp Manchester United team. Here is Højlund trying to hold the ball up. He's dragged to the floor by Bassey, gives away a free kick, and it's a Manchester United ball just in front of the centre circle, and it remains goalless. Still a bone of contention about that VAR decision. I think Erik ten Hag will see that as something that's gone against him.
I think it'll polarise opinion in the world of football, let alone the Manchester United contingent. You know, some will say, well, where's the problem with that? And as I've pointed out, I've seen a lot worse this season that haven't been ruled out for interference.
Yep. And Adrian Durham quite strident on that at half-time, saying that was not what VAR was brought in to do. Here is Wilson charging up the pitch. He's picked the ball up inside his own half, but he's been allowed to run 50 yards. He's laid the ball off to Willian, who's on the left side of the area, back through the 6-yard box. He's stopped by a combination of Maguire and Wan-Bissaka and smuggled out on the far side. And again, really threatening from Fulham. They picked the ball up. Wilson was allowed to run. I mean, look how much space he's got to run into. It's 60 yards unchallenged for Harry Wilson. And then there's no punch at the top end for Fulham.
No, exactly that. And sometimes when a team are not playing particularly well, when an effort's going on your goal, just look at the front end of the team. If you've got more than 2 players in advanced areas.
Iwobi, about 10 yards outside the box, has won it back. He's given it to Wilson, who's cut in field. He's left it for Willian inside the box. His shot takes a deflection, and it runs through the 6-yard box and goes to the left edge of it. And all of a sudden, Fulham are looking likely to test Andre Onana again. It's no more than that at this stage, but it's still goalless, and Manchester United are yet to fashion a meaningful save from Bernd Leno. Maybe they will now. Garnacho out wide to Fernandes, left wing position, tries to cross, blocked by the first man, Castagna, and then cleared away. And now a chance to break, and Pereira charging through the middle of the centre circle, again unchallenged. Wan-Bissaka is running away from him. Maguire's not facing him up. The cross comes in towards Muniz, back across the face of goal, comes back to Muniz, edge of the box. He goes backwards. Now William will strike it, and it's in towards the near corner, and it's wide.
Look at the front end of United's team at the moment. They've had an effort in and around Fulham's penalty box. The ball swept up the other end of the pitch, and there was still 4 players stood up around the halfway line when an effort was on their goal. That's unacceptable, to be honest with you. And I think Maguire's coming off the pitch now. Referee's calling the official. I don't think Maguire wants the physio on, but he's saying stay off. But the referee looks adamant that he wants some treatment.
So John Brooks does not believe that Harry Maguire is okay to continue, so he is asking the physio to come on. Maguire says the physio does not need to come on, but the referee has said, no, you are not okay. I'm stopping the game and I'm bringing the physio on, and I must admit, John Brooks deserves credit for that action. Well done him.
Yeah, I've got to back up your sentiments there. Well done to the referee. They're on to safeguard the players. And the incredible thing is, you've got a situation where Maguire couldn't get in on the pitch for love nor money all season. All of a sudden, they don't want to take him off.
He's not, to me, he doesn't look right. And I'm no expert, and I'm definitely no medical professional, but he's not moving with the kind of sort of fluidity and certainty that you need one of your centre-backs to be able to play with. And I know he wants to play. I know he's desperate to represent this Manchester United team, and it's heartbreaking that after getting back in the team he may have to be withdrawn, but he's got to be careful, and so have Fulham, because they're playing around with it on the edge of their own penalty area, and they can't afford to give Manchester United a sniff here. Facundo Pellistri is about to come on for Manchester United. And Maguire is now back on the field of play. Here is Pereira running through the centre circle. He spotted the runner Castagna, didn't find him. In fact, he found almost no one. He did find a blade of grass on his near side, but Iwobi's made the best of it by nutmegging Garnacho. And here's Wilson with an effort, and he's saved brilliantly by Onana. He hit that full on the volley, cut across the ball with the outside of his left foot, and it was spiralling away from the Manchester United goalkeeper, who just about kept it out. What a chance and what a hit.
Well, I thought he caught Onana out there with the swiftness of the way he took the shot. It was almost like a lick of a paintbrush, if you like. You know, it's an incredible strike, but a wonderful save off to his right.
Corner kick on this near side. Fulham in the ascendancy against Manchester United. A short corner, given far too much room to be able to take that, and then they play it to the edge of the box and waste it. Pereira back to Willian, in towards Iwobi, might go in behind for Paulinho, saved by Onana again. Into the air and out for a corner kick. It was straight at him, in fairness, with a huge goal to aim at. Paulinho should have done better.
Yeah, Willian's pass was for Iwobi. Iwobi missed it, and all of a sudden Paulinho's in on goal behind, and he should have done a lot better. He snatched at the effort where he had a lot more time, straight at the goalkeeper, probably a foot above his head.
Corner kick, Pereira, deep towards the far post, headed forward by Rodrigo Munoz, back across the goal by Castagna. Someone shoot, will you? They just seem to head the ball across the face of goal 3 times. And then it goes back to the halfway line, and we've burnt Leno. But that's a couple of big opportunities now for Fulham, which should have ended in a goal.
Yeah, it certainly should have done. I think both teams, it's looking like any goal will win this game. I think the first team to score wins the game.
Pereira on to Wilson. Wilson approaching the edge of the penalty area, plays it behind Rodrigo Munoz. Harry Maguire does brilliantly to hold him off and tuck it behind, and it goes away for a corner. Good defending by Maguire. Fulham 0, Manchester United 0 on TalkSport with Super 6, and predict 6 correct scores from this weekend's action. You could win 250 grand without spending a penny. 18 plus, terms and conditions do apply. Chelsea 4-0 up now in their game in the WSL against Aston Villa. Corner here on the near side for Fulham, attacking the goal away to our right. The Hammersmith end. It'll be taken by Pereira in towards the near post. It runs loose, it goes towards the far stick, and on the post was Dalot to clear it from the foot of the upright. Kept in by Pereira. I think he kept it in. He's flagged it on the near side, the assistant, and it's out for a throw-in. That's another big chance.
Yeah, there's certainly this half's developing chances, but neither side at the moment look like they've got a clinical finisher in their ranks to actually put it in the net.
Pellistri for Anthony is the first change by Eric Ten Hag. Facundo Pellistri, the 21-year-old Uruguayan, comes in for the Brazilian, who again hasn't had enough of an impact really. Fulham have had the best chance by a mile. won by Polinia, who's been the best player on the pitch, I think, by a mile in the game.
Yeah, I think he's done well. I think Wan-Bissaka's defensive work's been very good, and I think Willian looks a threat as well, who's playing up against him. So there's been one or two decent performances within both ranks.
A couple of bright spots in a sea of mediocrity.
Indeed, I think some of Bassey's defensive work's been okay, and then when he's received the ball, you always feel as they could give it back to the opposition.
Well, that was certainly the case against Tottenham the other night. Long ball over the top, and Dallow is struggling here to get the better of Wilson. He just about edges him out, heads the ball behind, it's away for a corner. It's a bit simple, route one, up the pitch by Leno, down towards the right channel. Wilson was chasing with Dallow, who came across and had to edge him out, and conceding yet another corner for Fulham. Away on the right, Pereira to take it. He's got Bassey, Muniz, Iwobi, Polinia and Tim Ream to aim at. Castagna's operating at the near post. It's going to be Pereira, the Brazilian, to take it. Right-footed, out towards the back edge of the area, and the header is just over the top. Muniz got up well and beat everybody in the air, and it was only narrowly over the top of the crossbar away to our right-hand side from Rodrigo Muniz.
Yeah, rose well, really well above Wan-Bissaka and Maguire. But to be fair, he's always going over. I think Onana would have had that covered if it was under the bar.
Scored his first goal of the season in midweek against Ipswich Town, his first goal for some while. Polinia has been penalised for a foul on Bruno Fernandes, and the referee having a word with Polinia, who's saying no. These two international teammates, by the way. Actually, it was the other way round. It was a foul by Fernandes on Polinia.
Yeah, I think sometimes I look at refs and I wonder if they know exactly what a foul was. What he'd done, he sort of waved it away, said there's no free kick there at all. Then all of a sudden he's pulled it up. It's as though someone's told him, hang on, that is a free kick, and then he changed his mind and give a free kick, and then he's booked the player that, well, looking at the replay, looked as though was fouled himself.
He was fouled by Fernandes, and he's got a booking for it.
It's the reaction of the players all the time, and
he did get 14 Premier League yellow cards last season, so I'm not going to suggest for 1 minute that he is always the not guilty party, but he is on this occasion. Maguire goes to take the free kick, then stops again, and then does take it. Gives it to Wan-Bissaka. Surely Manchester United not wasting time after 66 minutes, are they?
The bottom line is you don't get booked for wasting time. That was just the first week of the season.
Oh yes, I forgot. Here is McTominay. Is that called changing the rules as you go along?
Yeah, seems that way.
The rules are only the rules until they're not the rules anymore, as Simon Jordan said to me yesterday. Ball sent out towards the left-hand side where it's collected by Garnacho. He and Darren McAntony were in brilliant form yesterday, by the way. And Tim White will be back tomorrow, 10 till 1. Foul by Garnacho on Harry Wilson. It was a little bit extra, and he gets a yellow card.
Let me just explain exactly how he's got booked. He's come inside with the ball, and instead of passing it normally to one of his teammates that are 3-4 yards away, he's decided to backheel it and got the backheel wrong, and then got the challenge wrong.
19 years of age, Alejandro Garnacho, but thrust into the team because of Marcus Rashford's heavy knock, and then failing the fitness test earlier today. Raphael Varane not in the team, he's on the bench. There's a problem here on the halfway line for a Fulham player who's gone down. I can't see it because he's behind the referee, so I think it's Muniz actually who's gone down, and the physios are called on as a result of that, and we'll be going off around our grounds to get team news very shortly.
Did you say that Rashford had a heavy knock or a heavy night? I misheard you.
Both, actually. It depends if you're talking about Sunday or yesterday.
This is quite a bad one on Muniz. He's just tried to slow down and change direction at the same time and splayed his legs.
OK, let's go off to some of our 2 o'clock team newses. Bournemouth won last week for the first time since April. The reward is a trip to Manchester City. Here's Mickey Gray.
Well, there's 4 changes for Manchester City from that 3-0 win against Manchester United in the derby last week. Diaz, Gvardiol, Foden and Grealish all drop out. In come Akanji, former Cherry, Ake, Kovacic and Doku. 3 changes for Bournemouth from their cup defeat to Liverpool in midweek. Out go Smith, Semenyo and Kluivert. In come Tavernier, Kelly and Aarons. It's live on TalkSport 2 at 3 o'clock. Manchester City against Bournemouth.
That's clearly Ian Danta, who is not as good a left fullback as Mickey Gray, but a much better drummer. That's over on TalkSport 2. Let's go off to Brentford. Jared Bowen can equal a Premier League record today. Is he in the West Ham team? Alex Crook.
Oh, of course he is, and he'll be up against a makeshift fullback in Frank Onyeka as Bowen bids to score in a 6th successive Premier League away game. Brentford also bring in Mopé with Roreslev and Hickey making way. 3 changes for the Hammers from their last league lineup. Mavropanos, Emerson and Souček all come in. Out go Zuma, Cresswell and Alvarez. It's Brentford against West Ham.
We're only back underway here after treatment to Muniz, who's gone off over on the far side. And at the moment there were nine outfield players at this moment in time, Fulham, but they're building with Iwobi through the middle of the park, goes back to Bassi, who plays it to Tim Ream. Away teams reign whenever Everton meet Brighton. What happens today, Matt Jones?
Yes, Brighton are aiming for a 3rd successive win here at Goodison, but they make 5 changes from their draw with Fulham last weekend. Verbruggen, Milner, Gilmore, Van Eck and Veltman are in for Steele, Webster, Igor, Baliba and Dahoud. Just the 2 changes for Everton. Onana's not in the squad and Danjuma drops to the bench. Gay and Decore start. It's Everton against Brighton.
Nunez back on here. Only Sheffield United score fewer goals than Burnley and Palace. Who have they picked to change that, Steve Pottersall?
Well, Vincent Kompany still can't call on his top scorer, Lyle Foster. He's missing. Jay Rodriguez leads the line. He hasn't got a goal this season. He's one of 3 changes for the Clarets from the Bournemouth defeat. Jordan Bayer's return is significant in defence. Sander Berg replaces the suspended Cullen. Palace unchanged from the defeat to Spurs. Edouard the main goal threat. Eberici Eze returns to the bench. His first involvement for a month. It's Burnley versus Crystal Palace.
Garnacho takes the ball out of the sky after a loop forward by Fernandes. Fulham's flexed back into shape well as the ball's played out to the left. It's collected by Dalot. There's a good strong 2-line defence by Fulham, just stopping Manchester United from breaching the lines. The ball clipped to Pellistri by Eriksson. He chests the ball down, takes it in a right wing position, faces up Anthony Robinson, plays it in towards the near post, but his shot had no venom in it, and it's easily plucked by Leno. So we'll go off to Bramall Lane. Sheffield United have fewer points after 10 games than Derby did. Can they get some today? Alan Biggs.
Even 1 point would double their tally, and 2 is also the number of changes on both sides. George Baldock is back for the Blades, preferred to James McAtee. Jordan Archer is recalled for Anis Slimani. Wolves without Pedro Neto, of course, through injury. Boubacar Traore also misses out, and coming in Sasa Kalajic and Tommy Doyle against the side he played for on loan last season. Sheffield United versus Wolves.
TalkSport Breakfast is back on Monday morning 6 a.m. with Ali and Andy Townsend. They're back together on TalkSport Breakfast. It's a massive week this week. Glenn Hoddle on Monday, Peter Crouch is on Tuesday, Les Ferdinand Wednesday, Martin Kemp is on this week from Spandau Ballet, and after hearing Ali's rendition of True earlier in the week, that'll be an interesting collision.
I was going to do the True gag then, and you got there before me. Well
sorry,
done,
mate. It's communication, it let you down. Here is Bassi down the right-hand side, getting to the edge of the Manchester United penalty area as Fulham come forward. It's played too easily to Iwobi. He goes down the right now. Chance to cross. It's very deep. Flicked away by Wan-Bissaka. There wasn't really anyone to aim at. It goes out for a throw-in. 18 minutes to go, 0-0. Who's going to win this game?
Well, the way things are going, probably nobody, and 0-0's going to ensue. But you can't help thinking that someone's going to make a mistake that's going to lead to a goal.
Definition is sitting on the fence. Here is a mistake by Calvin Bassi as Garnacho leaves the ball for Højlund down the left-hand side. He looks to get into the box. He brushes aside Castagna, tries to centre it. It's good defending that by Castagna. Brilliant right full-back play by Timothy Castagna to nudge it out towards the right side and then set Fulham away on the attack. Here they come with Pereira. Down the left it goes into Willian. Willian moves into the box. He tries to come in on his right foot. Leaves it for Pereira. Pereira sets it up for Iwobi. Someone's going to pull the trigger here. Iwobi does that, but he misfires. And he scoops the ball high into the afternoon sky, and it floats behind harmlessly and into the Hammersmith end, and it remains 0-0.
Yeah, the first thing you prioritise, I think, when results are not going your way is your recoveries. Get back into shape as quick as you can. Now, it's the second time I've seen United have 3 players still in the opposition's half when Fulham are having an effort at goal.
Well, that's been a problem for them all season. Here is Garnacho down the left. Fernandes, bit of space, plays it against the arm of Palhinha. It goes out of play. Again, he looked a little bit indecisive there as to what to do with that ball when it fell to him on the edge of the box. Leno's got it at his feet. No one's pressing. Fernandes is looking to the sky. I mean, but I don't understand what he is doing, Fernandes. You know, he is supposed to be the leader of this group. Muniz, by the way, has gone down and needs more treatment. He's going to have to come off, I think, after going off and then coming back on again. Fulham warming up a couple of substitutes over on the far side. Harrison Reed, who has been warming up longer than the game has been going on. And De Cordova-Reid are over there, and there may well be another change. Who's that? Is that Carlos Vinicius they're getting ready to come on? I think it might be, to replace Muniz.
It looks as though he's in tears, Muniz, down there.
Yeah, which is a bit of a worry, because that means that the injury is much more serious than we first thought.
When he went down, I've got to say, it did look one of those ones that could be reasonably serious, you know, groin. You know, when you try to change direction and just
feel something.
Yeah.
Just overstretch it. Vinicius doing squat jumps on the far side is about to replace Muniz now. That's going to be another substitution. And Manchester United have been hampered by injury and illness, but I wonder if that's enough excuse for them to fail to come to Fulham and win. They have been sluggish, they have been inert, they have struggled to get back into position when moves have broken down. Have they struggled to get back into position when moves have broken down, or is there just a lack of desire to do so?
I just think the attack-minded players within their ranks have said, well, they'll get the ball back and give it back to us. But when you're not having a good day, that ball tends to end up in the back of your net rather than you get back into shape and defend it well.
Sasa Lukic has also come onto the field of play just to bolster that midfield area, probably to sit on Eriksson. So he has come on, and Willian has gone off.
He's absolutely distraught, Muniz. He's absolutely in floods of tears. So he obviously feels as though this injury might be a little bit worse.
Indeed. Which is a real worry for him and a worry for Fulham. Sasa Lukic on in midfield, and Iwobi, as a result of that, I think is going to go out to the left-hand side for the final 14 minutes of the game. Ball given away by Højlund, picked up by Palhinha, played in by Pereira. Lukic now picks it up, sends the ball straight out towards this right-hand side. Wilson moving up to the edge of the penalty area, cuts in left-footed. It's a poor ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, cut out by Johnny Evans. Very quickly it's headed away by Lukic and then picked up by Dalot, left full-back position, and they look to try and bring it forward. Eriksson into Fernandes. Oh, it's a poor ball by him, and Antti Robinson hits the ball down the left-hand side and then tries to win it again. Wan-Bissaka wasn't completely switched on, but did enough. And Manchester United have it. Remember, they've won games late already this season, Manchester United. Games against Brentford and Nottingham Forest spring to mind, but maybe they shouldn't have won them. Here's Garnacho down the left, trying to get into the penalty area. His cross is blocked by Castagna, who seems to have had his measure for most of the afternoon, and it goes out for a corner kick. There was a slip by McTominay as he went towards the near post, and he's down looking as if he needs treatment now.
Yeah, he certainly does. He hit the deck, he drove into the near post area, he's hit the deck, and to be fair, another individual that looks as though he's in extreme pain.
He's holding on to his right side. It looks like that might well be a rib injury. Always painful. And they look like they're going to prepare a substitute to take his place. Mason Mount getting stripped for ready for action. He was darting from the edge of the penalty area toward the edge of the 6-yard box, and he did just get an elbow into the side of his body by Calvin Bassey. He's up now, and Eriksson's going to come off to be replaced by Mount in the next few moments. Here is Garnacho getting the ball, missing it, and then Dalot shoots from distance. There's a corner routine from Fernandes to play the ball to Garnacho, edge of the box left side, and he completely miscontrolled it. It came through to Dalot and he swiped across it. It was poor.
some of the best chances in this have come from mishit passes that have gone to somebody they weren't intended to, a la the Fulham chance with Polina, or on that occasion a miscontrol has ended up setting it up brilliantly for Dalot on the edge of the box.
Eriksson for Mount, Højlund for Anthony Martial. Now the two changes.
I think Højlund's been very ineffective, certainly in this second half.
Why is that? Not giving him the service?
Well, listen, when I look back at some of the centre forwards United have had over the years, you know, Van Nistelrooy, they're signing players at the top of their game that have done brilliantly for other clubs, that have walked through the door, you know, Dwight York and people like that, and he's just someone earning his way at the moment, I think.
I think he's the kind of striker that may need a little bit more around him, better players around him. It's difficult to ask someone of the age of 20 to come in and lead the line, shoulder the burden of Manchester United. Should they have had a different type of striker? Should they have spent their money differently? Maybe they should have spent it on someone like Harry Kane.
Chalk and cheese at the moment. As I say, you're talking for the complete article. The complete article is Harry Kane. But listen, this kid will have a bright future, I'm sure.
Manchester United fans are still trying to keep their team's spirits up, despite the fact that it's 0-0 at Fulham, where they always win. Mount's picked it up, played a good ball down the middle of the pitch. There's no one there to get on the end of it, and Fernandes applauds it, and Martial was on his heels.
Once again, that best option of a goal coming, it was Bassi. Once again, really poor pass, and only that was bettered by a really poor pass from United trying to get a player in behind.
Castagna plays it infield. Polina under pressure was fouled by Martial. Eventually the referee brings it back for that foul, despite the fact that it was cleared upfield. Johnny Evans is holding on to the ball. Only 10 minutes to go now for Manchester United to hang on and get a point at Fulham. Off comes Andreas Pereira, and he's going to be replaced by Bobby De Cordova-Reid. The slap of the hands from Alex Iwobi, and De Cordova-Reid comes on in his stead. In the Manchester United fans give a little ripple of applause to their former charge, and De Cordova-Reid will hope to have a significant influence on this game as we approach the last few minutes of it. He was in the Bristol City team actually that knocked Manchester United out of the League Cup just before they sacked Mourinho in December 2017. Bobby De Cordova-Reid. And he's on to try and pile the pressure on Erik ten Hag with 9 minutes to go. McTominay, infield, Mount sends it back to Evans. What on earth is Onana doing? He was starting on his goal line there. And he eventually cleared the ball. The ball's run loose though, and Iwobi's won it back. Mount's trying to wrestle him for it. They do get hold of it, Manchester United, and then Martial, McTominay knit a bit of play together and move up the pitch. Garnacho takes over. He goes through the legs of Polina, then runs past Iwobi, who says, "No, I love that, thank you very much." Oh, but he's got a yellow card for knocking him over. I didn't think there was much contact there.
I don't know whether his left foot's just taken Garnacho's right foot out of the equation. We'll have a little look at the replay on that. Yeah, I think he's just caught him. I think the referee's got that one correct.
Yeah, it's a little flip of the left foot, wasn't there, that caught him. But that's a free kick which has been given by John Brooks, which could mean that Manchester United get to craft a decent chance. Can they come up with a defining moment? Can they somehow turn what has been a very flat performance into a winning performance? Fernandes standing over the free kick. It's 10 yards back from the edge of the area. It's left of centre. There's a free man Fulham wall just on the edge of the box. It's Fernandes who steps up, right-footed. He sends it to the far corner, saved by Leno towards his left-hand side, and it's pushed away by the German goalkeeper. It was going to be difficult to trouble him from there. Palistri's got it back right side, tries to play it against Anthony Robinson. It's dug out by Polina and out to the far touchline where it goes out for a throw. Quickly tossed into Palistri by Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka into Mason Mount inside the area, stands the cross up away by Ream. and it comes back out to Dallo out wide. Garnacho trying to jink in field. He's got Dallo on the overlap, produces the cross into the 6-yard box, and Martial sort of tries to do a Crosby flop, and it hits his chest and goes behind.
Yeah, fair description there, actually. He managed to get first contact in and around the 6-yard box, but the attempted overhead kick not good enough to be on target, keeping with the game.
Celtic 2-0 up against Ross County. Northampton 1, Barrow 1. They're just approaching half-time in that game. It's Fulham 0, Manchester United 0 on TalkSport with Now. And don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Newcastle versus Arsenal live today for $11.99, no contract search. Now Sports. $84 minutes on the clock. Fulham 0, Manchester United 0. Injury time to come. Later on, Manchester City play Bournemouth. It's live on TalkSport 2. Adrian takes you round and round to pick up first round action, Championship and Premier League action to keep you in touch with as well. It's quite a busy Saturday in the Premier League this weekend. And live on TalkSport 2 from Hayes Lane. A little bit later, Bromley against Blackpool. That's on TalkSport 2 from the first round of the FA Cup. Here is Johnny Evans of Manchester United trying to fashion a victory out of another difficult performance away from home. A yellow card for Harry Wilson for his challenge. And that takes the number of yellow cards to 4 for Fulham players now. I'm sure Harry Wilson was convinced. Mount out wide. Garnacho takes it on. United on the attack. Garnacho runs laterally through the middle of the Fulham half, then plays it out wide to the right. Facundo Pellistri, his mate, they hang out together at Carrington. Receives the ball, then loses the ball, commits a foul, free kick Fulham left full-back position, and the Fulham fans want a yellow card for consistency.
Yeah, the longer this game goes on, the less chance anyone's got of scoring a goal, I think, you know. United seem to be the one with a bit more ascendancy in the game rather than Fulham.
Is there enough fight? I was listening to Andy Townsend on breakfast this week. He was shocked by United's lack of aggression and fight in the game last Sunday.
Well, it certainly dropped off at a period. I've not seen that in evidence today, but there's just been a couple of times on those recovery runs where you think, if you want to turn some bad results around to good results, it's that effort on recovery that helps.
Good ball by Mount out to the left-hand side into Garnacho. He's trying to jink his way through the entire Fulham defence. Not going to happen. Mount tries to stop Palhinha's progression. Save with Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes dives in. Referee is a throwing, not a free kick. And the Fulham fans furious about that. And they want Bruno Fernandes booked. If he was booked, he'd be suspended.
See, that's the sort of effort and endeavour you want. Fernandes chasing a player back to the halfway line and getting a slide tackling. That's what get the United fans on their feet. Also gets the Fulham fans on their feet as well.
3.5 minutes. We haven't had many 0-0s in the Premier League so far this season. I think we've only had 3 0-0s in the Premier League so far this campaign. This is going to be the latest of those. Manchester United and Fulham, who don't score many goals, they're towards the bottom of the goals table. Fulham are going to try and change that. They're going to bring on another substitute. Iwobi brings it forward, unpicks the United midfield, gives it to Harry Wilson, who dives in. Dallo brings him down, and that's going to be a yellow card for Diego Dallo and a free kick right on the edge of the Manchester United penalty area.
Yeah, Wilson just kept the ball away from Dallo there, and he drove inside, and all he knew, just going to nudge it away, draw the challenge and get a free kick in a decent area.
Well, that McTominay disallowed goal seems a long time ago now. The shots from Wilson saved by Onana and Palhinha seem a little while ago too. A fresher in the memory. Is there going to be one last telling touch? Is there going to be one moment of magic? Can it come from Harry Wilson, who is a man who scored a brilliant free kick against Manchester United before? He did it for Derby up at Old Trafford in the League Cup a couple of seasons ago. I think Frank Lampard was the manager at the time. He has the ability. Liverpool fans used to call him the Scouse Torres. Where his looks looked a little bit like Fernando Torres. And he's placed the ball down 6 yards back from the edge of the area, just right of centre. There's a 4-man Manchester United wall and a draft excluder. It's the Welshman to send the ball towards the near post, but he's got underneath it far too much, and it's gone 5 yards over the bar.
Really poor effort there. He's trying to get it up and down, but it's gone over the crossbar, centre of the goal, probably 10 metres above the bar.
Iwobi off. Raul Jimenez is coming on over on the far side. So is this going to be a significant change? He hasn't scored a goal in the Premier League since March 2022. It's 32 Premier League games without a goal for Raul Jimenez. I think him and Neil Maupay are in a race just to see who would go the longest. Tom Kenny's on as well.
Incredible when you've got strikers of that ilk that have not scored goals for that length of time, you know, amazing.
Fernandes against Lukic. The ball bounced into the left fullback position. Mount dealing with it, protecting it, sends it back to Dalot. Dalot fires it forward up towards Pellistri. It's over the head of Robinson, and Pellistri on the scamper over on the far side. Looks to take on Robinson, looks to go on the outside. Robinson does well. Pellistri does well. The ball runs loose. It's played by Ream against the defender. It bounces from Martial. It's like a pinball inside the box. They've given it away. Bassi's giving it to Fernandes. Can he make something happen? McTominay inside the box. Pellistri back to Fernandes, trying to turn, shoots, it's squirmed in. Manchester United have won it in stoppage time at Craven Cottage again. Bruno Fernandes, after pinball in the box, added a dash of composure, smashed the ball into the near post. It's squirmed under Bernd Leno, and they find something to drag themselves back from the brink and spare the blushes of Erik ten Hag. The captain comes up with a goal in the final few seconds. It's their most meaningful effort of the game, and it may well have won them the game. It's Fulham 0, Manchester United 1.
Well, I've got to say, I thought a mistake might contribute to the goal, but both teams, Ream smashed it into a United player, then they couldn't defend it. They were pinball, as you say. Ball was going here, there and everywhere. A really bad pass from Fernandes. The ball was going here, there and everywhere. And at the end of this woeful phase of play by both teams, Fernandes had the presence of mind and the talent to wrong foot two players, open the goal up and slot it into the bottom corner. Great finish, I've got to say. And Leno's got a big touch on it, but just couldn't stop it going in the back of the net.
Oh, how on earth have Manchester United done that? But the relief, the joy, the celebration on the face of the United fans, and in particular one bald Dutchman wearing a roll neck over on the far side, are a sight to behold. Bernd Leno, who's been brilliant for them actually, I think will look back at that and think he should have kept it out. He got something on it, didn't he? But not enough to turn it round the post.
Yeah, he got a big touch on it, no doubt.
Into the box at the other end it goes. It bounces out to the right side. It's picked up by Decordova-Reid, who centres it away by Evans. Can Manchester United hang on now and get a victory? A 7th in a row here.
But when you look at that phase of play...
Hold on a second, they're checking for a handball, I think, here.
When you look at that phase of play, Sam, that led up to the goal, there was so many errors from both teams, wasn't there? Trying to clear it, trying to pass to each other.
Well, we're going out for a substitution now, and off comes Alejandro Garnacho, and on comes Rafael Varane. They're definitely going to try and shore up as they look to get right to the end of the game and see this one out and earn 3 points. Another 3 points on the road. They've started to enjoy their away days more than they've enjoyed their trips to Old Trafford. But Manchester United, who had to win this game, really look like they're going to win this game.
Yeah, it'll be one of those games the manager will spin it in whatever direction he wants to, Ten Hag, but what he wanted after the week he's had is a clean sheet, give us a starting point, and then on top of that, a victory, and he's got both as it stands.
Last minute goals always make you feel better about everything, don't they? 90 had already ticked over. A stoppage time winner once again at Craven Cottage, just as there was from Alejandro Garnacho last season. It just had to be a win today for Manchester United. Nothing else could be countenanced. And people putting their body on the line. I know that there'll be some, and quite rightly so, wanted Harry Maguire to be withdrawn because of his head injury. But if you want character and you want someone to show that they really want it, he's an embodiment of that, I think. And after 2 bruising defeats this week, Manchester United have scored and are moments away from winning, and that will mean the world to their supporters that have made the journey.
Yeah, it certainly will. And you touched on Maguire there, and I've championed Maguire's cause when a lot of people were sort of almost bully boy tactics, I think, against him, and I don't think he deserved that. And he had every opportunity to come off with his head injury early on. He's got a manager that probably don't fancy him that much. He doesn't play a lot, but he's seen it out, and credit to him for it.
Here he is again, still trying to win a header in the final few seconds. It runs through the Decordova reed and goes out to the left-hand side. It took a flick, I think, of a white shirt, and it goes out for a throw-in to Manchester United. 5 minutes were added at the end of the game. We've played 4 of them now. Chelsea thrashed Aston Villa in the WSL by 6 goals to 0. As a result of that, are top of the Women's Super League. Elsewhere, it looks as if Celtic are going to be top of the Scottish Premiership. They lead 3-0 away at Ross County, who have been down to 10 players for a long time. Northampton won, Barrow won at half-time in the FA Cup first round as well. Ball sent forward by Bernd Leno. It's headed away by Maguire and out on the far side. This will be the last act of the game. United beat Fulham 3 times last season, and a 4th is incoming. It's Robinson down the left, in towards Jimenez. Jimenez to Robinson once more, and Jimenez can't hold on to it. It goes out of play, and surely now the game is up for Fulham. They had great chances. Polinia saw his effort saved. He should have scored. The effort from Harry Wilson, oh so close to making it 1-0. Onana coming to Manchester United's rescue on that occasion. Gallo clearing off the line, and then the goal from Fernandes. Just a little bit of composure at a moment where, well, there was none really. It was a dreadful moment for both Manchester United's attack and the defence of Fulham, who didn't clear their lines when they desperately needed to. And as a result, it's going to be a victory for Manchester United. Just gave Fernandes enough room to squeeze the shot goalwards, and Leno couldn't keep it out. Ball goes upfield. Varane wrestling with Jimenez, who played 96 minutes now, and we're into the 97th. Martial has got Tim Ream only to deal with. He's going to try and take the ball wide to the corner. Martial plays it infield to Fernandes and then goes for the return. He sends the ball back towards Pellistri. He'll come to Fernandes. It's a good challenge into the air by I think it's Sasa Lukic, and then I don't know what Dallo is doing, but it goes out by the corner flag and away for a goal kick. 97 minutes have been played. There's 2 balls on the pitch, and there has been by quite some time. We're going to bring you the live interviews after the game from Erik ten Hag and from Marco Silva. A foul by Vinicius on Maguire. 96 minutes 37 seconds. Manchester United going towards the light for the first time in a while. Erik ten Hag and his assistants asking now, how long are you adding on? Rebecca Welsh, the 4th official, explaining exactly why this amount of minutes has been added on. They scored in stoppage time, so there was always going to be a bit that was extended onto what was initially added. Onana sends it forward, high into the air it goes. There's the full-time whistle. Light relief for Erik ten Hag, light relief for Manchester United, and no surprise that it's come here where they have now won 7 in a row. They had to wait very, very late in stoppage time when Bruno Fernandes came up with a moment of poise when all around them were losing their heads. It's been a woeful week where the pressure has been turned up several notches on the manager, but thanks to his captain they have another precious 3 points on the road. It feels a little bit cheap on Fulham, but it's finished. Fulham 0, Manchester United 1.